Hey guys, Cinema Sickness here with this week's Weekly Watch, where we take a look at all the titles I watch throughout the week and I briefly discuss them. And of course, we're still in the middle of the Cinema Sickness Halloween Horrorthon, so I've been watching nothing but Halloween and horror-related titles. Awesome, love this time of the year, so let's take a look at everything I've checked out. So the first title I watched is actually one I've been meaning to see for a very long time now, and a movie I'm sure many of you are going to kind of give me sideways looks when I say, I have never seen this movie. This is my first time ever watching this. But like I said, it's definitely one I've wanted to check out for a while now. I only have it on Laserdisc. It's the only format I own this on. And I've had it for a little bit now, but I just haven't got around to watching it until finally this year. And again, I know I should have got around to watching this one a long time ago. I know it's a classic, and now that I've watched it, I completely understand why, and that was Lifeforce. This movie was absolutely brilliant. Love the take on this. It's about these vampire aliens, and that's different. That's interesting. It's an idea of that even all the whole vampire myths that Earth has is all based on these aliens. That is a really interesting twist on the vampire story, and that's why I really enjoy this movie. It's not quite sci-fi, it's not quite horror, it's a great mix. It's not quite alien, it's not quite vampire. It's another great mix. Just absolutely fantastic. I loved it from start to finish. Great special effects, great story. It's a little interesting too. I mean, the story does slow down in some parts. It kind of starts off one way, then goes into another way. I mean, it kind of starts off in straight up kind of like a sci-fi horror type of movie, and then gradually kind of goes into this kind of like chase sort of film where they're trying to hunt down the alien. The movie had sort of a similar feel if you've seen Species. I almost felt like Species kind of almost sort of ripped Lifeforce off a little bit, although reading up on Species, because after I watched this, I was wondering, I'm like, were they influenced by this movie? And I looked up some information on it. Apparently the idea for Species was a long time ago, even before this movie came out. So I guess maybe it was just a similar idea, but it kind of had the same feeling as, you know, aliens are coming down, they're trying to sort of take over, you know, in a sense, and then now they gotta hunt this alien down. She's taking different forms, they don't know, you know, who it is, and it's this, you know, hot chick alien, so she's seducing guys, and it's interesting. I love the idea of the life force too, where they suck, instead of the blood out of you, they suck the life out of you, your life force. I think that's really, really cool. So this movie had a lot of interesting ideas, things I really hadn't seen before in a movie, and it's just very, very interesting in the way it's done. It's very different, but very enjoyable. This is a great sci-fi horror movie. If you like sci-fi, if you like horror, and you're like me, and you're really stupid and haven't got around to checking out Lifeforce, sorry to call you stupid, but I'm calling myself stupid for taking so long to see this movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You won't be sorry. The next movie I checked out is definitely one I should have watched a long time ago as well. However, unlike Lifeforce, which is a movie I knew about but just hadn't got around to watching, this movie, for whatever reason, has always escaped me. I did not know this movie existed till maybe about a year ago. Why that is, I don't know. I've just never seen any reviews on it. I never heard anybody talk about it. It wasn't until this movie was released on Blu-ray that I started hearing people finally talk about this movie. And I was intrigued. I really wanted to see what this movie was about. It sounded very interesting. Looked like something that I definitely wanted to see. And now that I watched it, I understand why everybody praises this movie, because it was damn good, and that was Frankenhooker. This movie is pure genius. Done by the same people who did Basket Case and Brain Dead. It has that same exact feel. If you like those movies, you're gonna love this one. It's ridiculously over-the-top cheeseball, has great practical special effects. The story, completely ridiculous, but from start to finish, it's just pure late 80s, early 90s gold. This is B-horror to the extreme, and it is wonderful just all throughout. The story's great. It's about this guy who, he's a doctor. He's kind of like a little bit of a mad scientist kind of a doctor. He's doing some of his own little wacky experiments. He ends up losing his girlfriend by accident. A lawnmower that he invented actually kills her. And he's distraught, he's upset, so he gets this idea of basically bringing her back to life, a la Frankenstein style, and he needs these body parts, because he doesn't have all her body parts. I think he has her like head and like some other parts, something like that, but that's it. He wasn't able to get all her parts, so he has little bits and pieces, so he needs other parts of other women to complete her. So he hires all these hookers to do, what's thought of as maybe some sexual thing or whatever. But he ends up killing them all off by giving them super crack, which is great. Makes them all explode. Fantastic scene. And after they explode, he takes all his pieces, puts them together, and makes himself a new girlfriend. It is just absolutely awesome. This movie was just... I can't praise it enough. It was great. If you love just fantastic cheeseball horror from the late 80s, early 90s, this is one you must check out. Don't be like me. Don't let this one pass you up. You heard it here. See the movie. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I cannot say that enough. The next title that I watched is a documentary that I do usually tend to watch every year around this time, and that is The Sci-Fi Boys. And it's exactly what you think it's about. All different sci-fi directors and people who create special effects, and all people just involved in great sci-fi movies. For instance, I'll read off some names on the back here. Peter Jackson, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, John Landis, Dennis Muren, Ray Bradbury, Rick Baker, Roger Corman, Ray Harryhausen, as it says, and other legendary all-stars of the cinema. Just a great documentary. If you're a fan of sci-fi and early creature feature movies, this is definitely one to check out. You're going to get the full story on how sci-fi began. It's really, really cool to hear stuff from people like, Steven Spielberg and Rick Baker and Peter Jackson and whatnot, who, didn't start out, in early sci-fi, obviously. They weren't around then. They were just children when sci-fi was just starting. And it's great to hear these people who are known as sci-fi directors now, or people who create, great monsters and all kinds of cool special effect creatures. It's these people who were raised on these classic sci-fi movies and looked up to people like Ray Harryhausen as just fantastic, people in the movie industry, and how they got their start basically by worshiping these people. And they, from loving these people, loving what they do, and being such big fans of sci-fi, they got into sci-fi, started making their own movies, and then became big-time directors who we all now know. Really, really cool to hear their thoughts on early sci-fi. So just a fantastic documentary. Again, if you like sci-fi, this is one to check out. Don't really have too much more to say about it. It is just what it is, a documentary on sci-fi, but this is one you gotta see. The next title I watched, I'm sure I really don't have to talk about it all, but I did check it out, and that was Ghostbusters. This movie is a classic, and for good reasons. It's extremely funny, it's extremely well written, the special effects are great, just from start to finish, everything in this movie is brilliant. There's not a single bad thing about this film. You're going to be cracking up laughing the whole time. You're going to be getting really into the story. You're going to be loving everything you see on screen. It's just pure genius. Again, there's a reason why this movie is considered to be a classic. There's a reason why it's so well known. There's a reason why pretty much everybody loves this film. It's because it is just absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm sure everybody watching right now has seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor, check it out immediately. I don't care if you get it on VHS, Betamax, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever format you can get this on, pick it up, check it out. I assure you, you won't be sorry. It's pure cinematic gold. But like I said, I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have seen this movie, so I'm not really going to talk about it, but I'm just going to say it's great. We all know it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Then I checked out the giant Gila monster, which comes in this horror collection 250 movie set. That's why I'm holding this big ass box up, because this comes with 250 horror sci-fi movies, and the giant Gila monster is in this. But it's heavy, so I'm going to put it down now. So the giant Gila monster, it's from 1959. It is definitely classic late 50s, early 60s B sci-fi, and it's absolutely great. It is pretty cheesy, and I do see why this movie isn't as well known as other movies like Them or The Blob or something like that. It's because the story isn't all that wonderful. It's pretty simple. It's this giant Gila monster who's going around terrorizing this town. There's a police officer, some kids who I really enjoy the kids. They're they're I don't want to call them a gang, but there's a little group of kids who all like to hang out, but they're not tough kids. They do drive around roadsters and stuff like that, but they're not bad kids. They're pretty good kids. The one guy's trying to help out his little sister who's hurt and whatnot. They're pretty nice kids, but it's basically them and this cop who now have to battle this Gila monster that's going around killing everybody. The whole story starts out with these people don't know what's going on. The cop isn't quite sure what's going on. Something weird's happening. Some people are missing. These cars are turning up all damaged. That nobody knows what's going on. The kids are wondering. Some of their friends are missing. Did they run away and did they elope or what happened? Where are all these people? Well, apparently this giant Gila monster is killing them all off, which is interesting because once they eventually find out that this is what it is, it's a giant Gila monster going around terrorizing a town, nobody seems too concerned that anybody's dead. Even the parents of these people or these kids who died are just kind of like, nah, whatever. Let's just kill this Gila monster. The one guy's like a complete dick too to this other kid who is kind of like, I don't want to say like the leader of the gang, but he's like the oldest one. Again, he's the one who's like helping out his sister and whatnot. He's a very nice guy. The one dad of the son who died is just like hellbent on getting this kid thrown in jail. He doesn't even seem to give a shit that his son died. He's kind of just like, meh, my son died, whatever, but get this bastard in jail because I don't like the looks of him. That's basically his agenda. And it's really funny that just nobody seems to be all that upset about all the people who have died. I did find that rather amusing, but still a good movie nevertheless. But like I said, I understand why it's not as well known and not as fondly looked upon. I mean, the movie gets made fun of a lot. It's public domain, gets thrown into these little, well, this one's a big box set, but little box sets like this all the time. MST3K, makes fun of it. Everybody makes fun of this movie, and it's sort of well known, but not like them, not like The Blob. It's not looked upon as a great cinematic feature like some people look at those other films. And again, it's really just because of the story, because it's very basic. Not a lot happens. It's very, I want to say it's slow getting into, but at the same time, it's not, because it's slow building the story up, but right from the bat, they kind of show you the monster. Like, oh, here's a giant Gila monster, and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't much of a mystery. It's not like them, with the ants, where you don't know what's going on for a while, and then finally you see the giant ant, and you're like, holy shit. No, this one is kind of like, here's the monster, just boom, right away, there it is, you know it's attacking. So, it's just not shot, and the story's not told as well. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. If you like B-1950s sci-fi movies, this one's going to be up your alley. It was great. It was a lot of fun to watch. I love the, again, our kind of like main character from the gang, the one again trying to help out his sister. I love his little song. It's so horrible. He's got this song he sings. He does a full version of it in the movie, and it is really, really bad. I mean, cringeworthy bad. It's just one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. And there comes another scene in the movie where you think he's going to sing it again. Thank God he only sings like one line of it, and then they get interrupted, because damn is it a bad song. But it just makes the movie all that more campy and all that more fun. So again, if you like 1950s B sci-fi movies, The Giant Gila Monster, it's definitely one to check out. It's a brilliant film. I mean, for what it is, it's a brilliant film. It's just a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it, and I'd recommend checking it out. Next I checked out Jeff Dunham, Minding the Monsters, and it is just a Jeff Dunham special. If you like his brand of comedy, if you like ventriloquism, you're going to enjoy this. Otherwise, you're probably not. What makes this a Halloween title, and what makes this a Halloween special, is the fact that he has all his characters dressed up in Halloween costumes. One looks like a Frankenstein monster, one's kind of like a Batman kind of thing, you have one in drag. I mean, all his characters, all his puppets, they're all dressed up in Halloween costumes. They're doing jokes about that, sort of things that revolve around Halloween, things that revolve around their costumes. It's pretty funny. I do enjoy Jeff Dunham, find his stand-up to be very funny, and if you do as well, you're going to enjoy this. Otherwise, you're probably not. I really don't have much more to say about it. However, there is one cool thing, and that's the special features on here. One of the things I really like about Jeff Dunham, and from what I've seen on all the DVDs and Blu-rays that I own of his specials, is in the special features, he shows you how everything's done. He shows you how he makes the monsters, and this way he shows you how he makes... There's a ton of special features on here. He shows you, again, how he makes he made all his puppets, how he turned them all into some, monsters and whatnot, or dressed them up, how he did it. He shows you how they made the stage that he's on, and all the special things he does. He showed you how they made all the models that started down at the beginning of the special. From start to finish, he pretty much shows you how the entire show is done. He doesn't leave anything... to guess. He shows you how it all goes. There's parts in some of his specials, not necessarily in this one, but in other ones I've seen, where he's letting you in on jokes. There's things in the, you're watching a special and there's things that you think are accidents. No, he straight up tells you, okay, in this part of the skit, you know, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be pretty funny. Everybody's going to get a laugh out of it. He doesn't screw with you. He basically says, here's what it is. Here's my show. You know, I don't think you people are stupid. I'm going to tell you how everything was done. I'm going to tell you how everything was set up. You know, if you get a laugh out of it, you do. And you basically, you'll watch the special and then watch special features, and I'll talk to you about how everything was done. It's pretty cool. I do enjoy how he does that. It's really neat, especially, you know, if you want to just see how stand-up is done, you want to see how a special is made, and you're really into, you know, seeing how the puppets are made and stuff like that. Really cool. He actually has a 3D printer that he shows off a lot in the special features. He seems to be a big fan of the 3D printer. That's pretty cool. So, I recommend checking it out. If you like Jeff Dunham, then you're going to enjoy it. Then I checked out Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. And this is just what it is. It's basically an episode with a bigger budget. That's really all it is. I mean, it's just an episode of MST3K, basically, with the movie put on it. The one cool thing is they're riffing on This Island Earth, which basically is because Universal put this movie out. Obviously, it gave them permission to spoof This Island Earth, which is a Universal title. And I think that's great. They get a lot of really funny material out of it. In fact, this is one of the better riffs I've seen. I mean, some of the riffs are better than others. Some are really funny. Some are just, you know, they're okay. They're very hit or miss. And this one here, brilliant. They have tons of just great material to work off of, because this movie's, I mean, This Island Earth is a fantastic movie, but it's pretty cheesy. And they certainly do a lot of poking fun at it, and it's just great. So I would definitely recommend this if you're an MST3K fan. Though if you are an MST3K fan, you've probably already seen this. But if you haven't got around to it, definitely watch it. Again, it is basically just an episode with a higher budget, but it is certainly worth checking out, as it is extremely funny and definitely one of the better riffs. And the last Halloween Horrorthon title I checked out this week was Hatchet 3. Told you guys I was going to watch this one right away. And it was great. Best way to describe this film is, if you've seen the first two and you liked them, you're going to want to check this one out as well, because it's very enjoyable. Just as good, to an extent, as the other two. What I mean by that is, it's, you know, your typical kind of third movie, where the first movie's great, second movie also great, but not quite as good, third movie, also a great movie, but not as good as the first or second one. They get a little bit weaker as they go along, but that's not to say this was a bad movie at all, because it wasn't. It was absolutely fantastic. I love it. And I love this franchise. I love how every movie is a direct continuation, where the last one left off, the next one picks directly up. And I think that's really, really cool. I love all the characters they brought in this. I'm just going to read off the back here. People like, I mean, Danielle Harris is obviously in it again. Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2's in here. So cool to see her. God, who else? Zach Galligan from Gremlins is in this. That's great. We have a Jason versus Jason battle in here. If you've seen the Jason movies and you know who plays Jason, I won't give too much away, but you're going to want to check this out just for the great Jason versus Jason battle you have in here. Classic. Really, really awesome. And a great, perhaps, wrap-up to the series. They do seem to... I don't want to ruin... I don't want to explain too much and get too many spoilers. Let's say the movie... It does seem like everything's wrapped up. This does seem like it's going to be the last one, but you never know. I mean, you might say that about every movie. I mean, the last movie seemed like it might be the last one, but it certainly wasn't. So, who knows? Maybe Victor Crowley, maybe he's going to come back. You never know. We'll have to wait and see, but it seems to be a wrap-up. But, again, you never know. He might come back, and I kind of hope he does. I would love to see a fourth Hatchet movie, as I've been just really enjoying the first three thus far. So, again, best way to describe this movie: if you've seen the first two and you liked them, check out the third one. You won't be disappointed. So there you go, guys. It's everything I checked out this week. Another fantastic Halloween Horrorthon week. Definitely loving this. Can't get enough of watching horror and Halloween-related titles. Absolutely love it. We have one more week to go until Halloween. Trying to cram as much as I can in. There's definitely a lot of titles that I want to get to watching this Halloween season, but I'm probably not going to fit them all in. But there are some that I will definitely get in this week. And... you know, not to worry, because I'll definitely get the other horror movies that I haven't got around to watching. I'll get to them within the next, you know, few weeks or year or whatever. They'll get watched. It's not like I don't watch horror movies any other time of the year. I'm constantly watching horror movies, so I'll get around to them eventually. But yeah, one more week to go, guys. So that's it. Like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you're not already subbed, please do. So that is it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. See ya.